Bird of Prey 5. El Caruga.
Kapla!
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Garoga. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. And that means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before, or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Esri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird o' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Bird o' Prey 5, Kapla, and welcome to Bed Life for January 15th, 2024, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a good old MLK Jr. Day, my favorite floating holiday of the year. Told the story before, but I will tell it again. Back in the old days, the Sidney Frank importing days, when my first and perhaps only corporate career job, office job that I had, my life. We were told we were getting every January, well, not every 15th, but every Martin Luther King Jr. Day off, which often hit about this time, January 15th. And every single year except one, instead of getting the day off, I, amongst many of the other New York office staff, were instead tasked with being part of putting together our annual sales meeting, which was, yes, it was an annual party, but also meetings. And it was, for me, a treat to be involved with, because God knows anything could happen at these sales meetings, and anything usually did. Every year they try to outdo themselves, and by them I mean the corporation, the company. Early on, we had people like the amazing Kreskin, who I didn't even know was a real thing. I thought it was just a joke. I did not know the amazing Kreskin was a real person until he was there at one of our annual sales meetings, doing his quote amazing Kreskin stuff. If you don't know who that is, you ask your grandparents. They probably heard of him. Mom O'Prey, you've never heard of the amazing Kreskin? I really would have thought he would have been up your alley. He was probably on the Johnny Carson show once or twice. Yeah, he used to like he was like I don't know, not a magician, although he did do some magic. He would kind of had like some ESP powers. He would know what you were thinking, kind of thing. But not like a medium, just like he knew he could tell a sucker. If you couldn't tell who the sucker was, it was you. Anyway, we had like him, and then we had that was the beginning. That was the beginning of my involvement. We started with the amazing Kreskin, and we ended up with former President Bill Clinton. President Bill Clinton was there. That was the night I had to follow. I had to follow Bill Clinton on stage. Bill Clinton, and then me. And you know what? It was fine because I knew I was going to bring the house down, and I did. I did. That was the unfortunate January 15th or so following the 10th that my boss had passed away. That January 10th, Mr. Frank passed away, and I believe it was the 18th was the day our sales meeting was set to start, and or maybe not start. Maybe it was just the middle of the sales meeting. But yeah, that following the sales meeting, right after he passed, was Mr. President Clinton was going to be. He was already coming. He was already coming to our sales meeting as our guest for the sales meeting. It turned out, instead of being his regular whatever he does, show, to just a custom kind of memorial to Mr. Frank. And
you phrase things sometimes.
But it's not, no. I phrased it what I phrased it as.
Well, no. But you repeated yourself twice when you said Clinton was already coming.
Right.
The whole fucking world knows that. It's all over the blue dress.
R.
I'm going out.
Thank you, Bob O'Brien.
I'm sorry.
No, I get it. I got it.
Get back to you.
Okay.
Frank.
So yeah, from Kreskin to Clinton, and we also had Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett. That was for the Jägermeister 500,000 case party or whatever. But yeah, Tony Bennett live, seeing Tony Bennett live in person at the event that you're hosting. Crazy old stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so every January 15th, I was supposed to get it off as a holiday, but instead, the office would just give it to us as an extra vacation day, a floating holiday. And my respects, my absolute respect to uh, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man I do deeply respect. I saw today on YouTube people complaining about MLK Jr. Like all I could tell was it was a live stream, and the title of the live stream was "I'm tired of MLK Jr." I'm tired of hearing about MLK, and saw they had several hundred people watching the live stream, and it upset me to know that there are people out there when MLK was all about peace and love for his fellow man. And granted, he wasn't a perfect man. Okay. He liked the ladies. He liked the ladies. And so, being uh, a religious figure at the time, if this was his FBI case is sealed for what reasons? Well, because frankly, he was probably having an affair on his wife, and the people who really disliked him at the time could have used that to destroy his message completely, even though his message of love versus hate and had nothing to do with the rest. But whatever, I don't care. Moving on, Mike Richards first in the chat. Welcome, Mike Richards. I know it's cold. I know it is cold out there across Canada, across the northern United States. All of you guys, I hope you're all staying warm. It's cold out there, even in New York. Not as cold, thankfully, not yet, but certainly cold for here. I hope everybody gets to stay warm. Jim's Landscape LLC, another YouTuber where it's awfully cold. I hope you're staying warm. Jim's Landscape puts out a link to see his puppies chewing on rawhide. Go check it out. Got a couple of dogs loving the rawhide bones in this cold weather. The dogs, of course, staying nice and warm inside the house. Last son of K, says Kapla Bird and the O'Praise. Hello, chat. Hail all. Hail the last son of K. Yvette says, good evening, Bird, and everyone. Good evening to the lovely Yvette. Miss Londell's Groovy Movies. Kapla, Mr. Londell. Aravic Sanders says, Kapla Bird, happy MLK Day. He played a role in Nichelle Nichols' decision to stay. on Star Trek. He absolutely did. He told her that she needed to be there. She needed to be there. Just her being in that seat, being part of that crew, that was her job. And just her face, her body, her being her inspired probably millions of women, millions of people of color, millions of white straight men to be part of something bigger than themselves. And she was exactly where she needed to be. Jedi Bill says, Kapla, brother warrior. Birdo Prey 5. All should hail Karoga. Kapla, Jedi Bill. Absolutely. All hail Karoga. Arabic Saunders says, Kapla to Jedi Bill. Last son of faith. Live long and prosper to Arabic Sonder. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Hello, 47 Yorktown. Keely Chow, Kapla Keely. Pop Culture Curator says, hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and keeping warm. I hope you are keeping warm, Pop. I saw you on LDG stream last night, a rare overnight stream on the LDG hashtag Free the Net channel that he forgot to delete until the mid-morning hours. So I had got a chance to watch it after I woke up this morning. But it has since been deleted, as is the hashtag Free the Net Way. So you don't get to see it. Make a copy. Resolute Germ says hello. Resolute Germ. Stanley says Bird got me hooked on For All Mankind. Awesome, Stanley. Especially the first season and the second season. It is the best of the best of the best. The third season is pretty good, and the fourth season is okay. But the first two seasons, the best of the best. Pop Culture Curator says, Kapla, Bird, and family. Love you guys. We love you, Pop. We love you. DJ Play Nice says, we welcome DJ Play Nice. And Pop, we hope you are doing well. We know you got your medical issues, as we all do. I hope you are doing well. I hope that the fact that we haven't heard anything awful is good. Stanley's is pretty good. Whenever I worry it's going to soapocera, they switch to some cool soap opera. Whenever they get to soap opera, they switch to some cool space shit. Yes, the For All Mankind. Billy Chow says hello to Jedi Bill. Roll Tide, brother warrior. Stan Lee says, and I like a lot of the women are serious. See you next Tuesdays. Though that's not what he said. Jedi Bill says, hey to Keely Chow. Roll Tide, brother warrior. Roll Tide. Stanley says, big shot. DJ Play Nice says, thanks to the mods for wrench. Jedi Bill says, Kapla to Arabic Sonder. Pop Culture Curator says, it's sad they are trying to erase everything Dr. King worked for. Indeed. Indeed, it's very upsetting. LDG at hashtag free the net. Speaking of the devil, says hello to everyone. Stanley says, do you audition the escorts or do you just order a certain number and appearance preferences? What are we talking about? Oh, are you talking about because Bill Clinton? Because Bill Clinton was involved. I cannot confirm or deny anybody checking on the escorts, auditioning the escorts. There may or may not be a NDI in effect. Hakeem says Kapla Bird and chat. Kapla Hakeem. Mr. Lundell's Groovy Movies remembers Kreskin had a short-lived television show and everything. Psychic, yes. He was a bit on the psychic side. Thank you, Stanley. Pop Culture Curator says, hail to LDG, and thanks for the great time last night. Oh, wow. Maybe there was something more going on. Because what it went on was LDG started a stream, fell asleep during his own stream. And Pop Culture Curator, Scotty, and Sci-Fi Sith Dan, who knows me and Salty Tracker from our streams. Sci-Fi Sith Dan. They were all hanging out on LDG stream, and LDG just fell asleep for hours. For hours, Pop and Sci-Fi Sith Dan kept the stream going. And finally, they both decided to call it a night. And like an hour later, LDG woke up enough to shut off the stream. That's the true events of last night on YouTube. Jedi Bill says hello to LDG. Great to see him. Stanley says, Miss Lundell, yeah, wasn't the Carson bit of a spoof on Kreskin? Maybe. Okay, Carson's was a spoof. Jedi Bill says, good afternoon to Pop Culture Curator. Stanley says, the great Karnak. LDG says, you're welcome. Glad everyone enjoyed it. Last on the case is, unfortunately, St. Floyd is more worshipped amongst the POC community than the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. George Floyd, yeah. I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know that that's true. Last on a K. I will say, George Floyd gets more attention these days from the media. LDG just says he just wishes he remembered last night. Yeah. Stanley saying dancers. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says Kapla, Gorilla. Pop says they use code words for those psychic gags. Dan Ben says hello, Dan Ben. Pop says hey to Jedi Bill. Resolute Germ says at least Mr. Frank didn't have to put up with Bill Clinton in person that year. Mr. Frank enjoyed Bill Clinton's company. It's easy to enjoy Bill Clinton's company when Bill is there for your money. Jim's Landscape says, hail to LDG, to Bird, to Gorilla, to Jedi Bill, to Pop Culture Curator, and to Resolute Germ. Last on the case is President Clinton is coming to a meeting or party. Hide the women. Resolute says, hey to Jim. Pop says, hello there to Jim's Landscape. Tim Christ says, Bird Bray 5, Kapla, Tim Christ. Jedi Bill says, we love you to Mamo Pray.
Captain's log, stardate 7414.1.
John Araki with a
best
99
estimates place us
cent
some 4
super
hours from
poop
Earth.
super sticker. Thank you, Jedi. John Araki. And the Rand of Venice says LDG fell asleep during his stream. He learned from the best. Bird, indeed. Although I never fell asleep like that on my stream. I can sleep talk. I can sleep talk. When I fall asleep, I'm still talking. Jedi Bill says, we love you to Mama Pray. And then Jedi Bill puts in a bird rant emojis. Pop Culture Curator says, sounds like Mama Pray is being feisty today. Dave G sounds says, Kapla, all Kapla, Dave G. DJ Play Nice says, Bop, what industry were you in? We were in the alcohol industry, DJ Play Nice. The cause of, as Homer Simpson says, to alcohol, a cause of and solution to all the world's problems. Actually, technically, we're in the alcohol import industry, although we had both owned alcohol brands, we mostly imported alcohol brands. We imported Jägermeister, Gekikan, Sakis. Those were our biggest brands. We had Baron Jaeger, Baron Jaeger, which was a honey liqueur. We had Hudson's Bay Scotch. We had Michael Collins Irish whiskey. We had various wine brands. We had Grey Goose vodka for a long time. That was something Mr. Frank created on his own, and he ended up selling it to Bacardi for over $2 billion within 7 years. Unheard of at the time. Incredibly quick, huge, unheard of building a brand to that much money in that short a time in those years. Without a .com, an actual physical brand being built 7 years from nothing to $2 billion, unheard of until then. After then, .coms would pop up overnight. They'd be worth $1 billion. It wasn't, outside of, if you were in Silicon Valley, that was normal. But for something not in Silicon Valley, incredible. Schwario says, Kapla Bird, hope you and the family are doing well today. Well, Schwario, I will say, yes, this is one of those days. No, I don't, I'm okay at them. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure something will.
Yes.
But the Random Menace is greetings from the future. Greetings, Random Menace. Schwario says it's cold in Texas. Brr. Yeah, I know it's It's cold out there. 21 degrees. Wow. Oh my God. I hope everyone staying warm where you can. It's a blessing to have heat. It is a blessing to have heat on a day like today. Resolute Germ says, it's funny, both MLK and JFK were killed by people who do the most to make them national heroes. Let me see if I understand that. Both MLK and JFK were killed by the people who do the most to make them national heroes. I I I don't know that I understand how JFK killer was killed by somebody who would make him a national hero, but I'll go with it. DJ Play Nice says it was negative 16 slash 33 in Nebraska. Jesus Christ. Jim's Landscape says temperature 15. Brr. Not Ryan Johnson says hello in Kapla. Hail Karoga. Hail Karoga. Last on the case says his true legacy of human equality has been replaced with an unwanted federal holiday, meaningless statues and memorials, empty platitudes, and the equity of some while destroying others. Sad. I don't know that statues are meaningless and that the federal holiday is unwanted. I don't subscribe to that. I mean, I'm happy with the holiday. I'm happy to see the statues. What I find the saddest thing about Martin Luther King is that, as Chris Rock used to joke about it, but was completely serious, no matter what city you were in this country, you probably did not want to be on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. That was the saddest part of it all. Hakeem says, an LDG sleep stream. It was awesome. Tokyo Gaijin says, Kapla Bird. Hope you are well today. Hope you are well today, Tokyo Gaijin. I hope your channel is good. You're taking quite a risk using it to advertise your Rumble channel, but for those who don't know, make sure you're subscribed to Tokyo Gaijin and his Rumble channel, because that will be probably where he'll be streaming, I guess. Stinky Leaks says, good afternoon. First time in Kapla. Stinky, I hope you enjoy your time. Arabic Sonder says, hope everyone is staying warm. It's -3 here in Denver. Captain Fandom Nerd, Kapla, good afternoon, says Captain Fandom Nerd. I hope you're doing well, Captain. I hope you are continuing to heal. Nemesis of Eden says, hail, you beautiful beings. Birdo Prey 5 and chat. Kapla, Nemesis of Eden. Good to see you. Arabic Saunders says, hey to Captain. Freedom Nerd says, hey back. Jeff B says, Kapla, Birdo Prey 5. And welcome to Stinky Leaks. Lekeets. Let me get this right. Stinky Latiques. Whizletiques. I don't know. I don't know. Melted Copper says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Melted Copper. Pop Culture Curator says, I just met Sci-Fi Sith Dan last night for the first time. Great guy. Yes, he is. You know, he was one of those people that YouTube just told me about. I had not been subscribed to him. He was just, he was streaming, the best I could tell, for the very first time, maybe 2 or 3 nights ago. And YouTube said, hey, you know, check out this guy. I happened to go over to his channel. I subscribed. He was testing his streaming for the first time. He needed a little help. I told LDG, hey, LDG, where I just got this guy streaming. I got a YouTube notification. So I'm going to go over there. And so LDG came over too. And yeah, LDG ended up striking up a conversation with him. He had more time than I did that night. And yeah, it was good to see. Good to see him get all set up. Sci-Fi Sith Dan, a new member of the community. He had seen me and through Salty, and so he's around. He'll be streaming. He's a new streamer. So if you get a chance, Sci-Fi Sith Dan, check him out. See if you see him anywhere, and subscribe to his channel. Last Son of K says LDG asleep on a live stream while in the underground. Anyone surprised? Well, he wasn't in the underground. He was in his own stream. Captain Fandom Nerd says to the Random Menace, hope all is well. John Araki says, did Mr. Frank ever get the invite to Epstein Island? You know, not as far as I know, John Araki. He did not, which is good, I guess. We dodged a bullet. Melted Converse says, I was just giving Scotty grief for being so entertaining. He put the host to sleep. It's not Scotty's job to keep the host awake. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, it's been a shitty day. Had a blowout in my tire on way to work. Oh, God. Sorry to hear that, Gorilla. Man, blowouts. Blowouts are fucking scary. Very scary. Melted Cobblers is sad. Hope things got better for Gorilla. Don Ranger Power says sci-fi for me, Braid. Hello, Bird and all, and happy MLK Day. Hope everyone's weekend was well. Thank you. And thank you, Sci-Fi for me. Pop Culture Curators are sorry to hear to Gorilla. Resolute Germs says, holy crap, Gorilla. Everything's still in one piece. Yeah, it's a good question. Gorilla says, Germ, I was still in town a block from gas stations. Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. And then it all jumped. Where were we? There we go. Dave G. Sounds as alcohol importer. So the mob. No, there's no such thing. Last Son of K says, I missed a comma, pop culture curator, between live stream and the underground. I assume the stream was on YouTube. Yes, the stream was on YouTube. Don says hello to Gorilla. So sorry. The Random Menace is funny. My wife enjoys California wines. I am more of a rum guy myself. However, since September, I had a little alcohol only 3 times. Yeah, well, I wonder why. Pop Culture Curator says that's correct. Last Son of K, it was on YouTube. I should have been more specific. Resolute Germ says it's a toasty 37 degrees for Resolute. Resolute might be the warmest person yet. Although I would guess LDG has got to be warmer in Central Florida. Don says, and there's a tune that paid tribute to both MLK and JFK and RFK and Abe Lincoln before them. Random Menace says the Captain Fandom nerd, doing mostly okay. Little Olivia is giving us so much. ... So much what? Poop? So much love? So much vomit? All of the above. Melted Copper says it's going to be 4 degrees above freezing the 23rd. I am calling my tank tops and shorts for the heat wave. Last on the case says, no, Pop. Your statement was fine. I mistyped. Gorilla says, Schwario, if you say it's 30 degrees out, I'm hopping on a plane to come whoop your ass in a Speedo. It's negative 40 there. Yeah, it is crazy cold across the north of the United States. Melted Copper says, in America, Black people get all the Arctic holidays. I think freezing. February, I think Black people. Why not give them June? That's Pride Month. There's been an awful lot of why is February Black History Month when it is notoriously the shortest month of the year. So maybe Black people have I am willing. You know what? I give in this. I give it to them. They again got screwed over with the shortest month of the year. So we will officially change June from Pride Month to Black History Month. And it's okay. It's still a step up. It's better than 28 and 29 on leap years. So it's better than 28. Pride Month is now February. Why? Because February, it's a little queer. Around the days, it's a little different. But that's the type of people who are accepting of a month like February. 28 days there most of the time. Resolute Germ says no one has seen that statue in DC, is proud of it. Well, that's it's a statue only the mother of the sculptor could love. Pop culture curator says hail to Stinky Whizlet Whizlet Whizletiques. Jesus. Stinky, you're gonna have to change your name. Dave G says good afternoon to Captain Phantom Nerd. Pop says hello, good buddy, to Nemesis of Eden. Resolute says hey to Captain. Last son of K says MLK Jr. wanted his legacy to be a living one amongst all. He didn't want a holiday, a statue, a memorial, or a pair of arms hugging. That looks weird. Tokyo Gaijin says the statue that looks like a turd. Okay, I didn't realize how bad the statue was. Yeah. I do remember now that there's this awful statue, but I had forgot how bad it looked. Pop culture curator says that was very kind of you guys for helping sci-fi Sith Dan. It was just, the way you do things. You see somebody new, you go over, you say hello. It's like the olden days when a new family would move on to your block and you would go over with your family and a cake, and you'd give them the cake and you'd invite them over for dinner and you'd welcome them to the neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood, Sci-Fi Sith Dan. We're your friends now. Maybe you have better friends. Well, then, good for you. Then we want to meet them too. Nemesis of Eden says, hail, Pop. I hope you are doing well, buddy. Nemesis says, I hope you are okay. To Gorilla. Random Menace says, does Karoga have an island? Waiting for the invitation. It's an island. I don't know that you want an invite. Pop Culture Curator says, I am, thanks to Nemesis of Eden, got out to have some carne asada fries today. Yummy. Admiral Teague is in the house. Says, hey, Bird will pray 5 cups la. Admiral Teague. Jim's Landscape says, hail to Don, Ranger Power, and Nemesis of Eden. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, is the audio messing up for anyone else? Good question. Jim says, hail to Admiral Teague. Admiral Teague says, hey to everybody. Tokyo Gaijin says, audio sounds fine to him, Gorilla. Gorilla says, Nemesis, I'm okay. Just $500 in debt now. Sorry to hear that, Gorilla. And Pop says it sounds good to him. Admiral Teague says hello to Nemesis. Last son of K says, Bird, I did correctly assume that the stream was on YouTube. I just thought he was in the underground as well. Should have stated that better. No, it's no worries. Last son of K. Resolute Germs says, Gorilla, the 500 is for the tire and wheel. Admiral Teague says, yeah, it's pretty darn cold here in New York today. Admiral, it is cold in New York, but it is so much colder elsewhere in this country. Negative 20, negative negative 30 degrees. It's crazy. It's crazy. Some places feel like negative 60. That's cold. That's scary cold. We benefit from having the goddamn ocean right here. Keeps us from getting super cold. It's not till the ocean freezes over do we have to worry about the super duper cold. Gorilla's random thought says Germ, he needs 4 new tires. Oh my God. Oh my God. Tokyo Gaijin says, I'll join. -4 Celsius in his neck of the woods today. -4. Yes, -4 Celsius. Resolute Germ says that sucks, Gorilla. Thankfully, the wheels are good. Those bastards are expensive. Melted Copper says, hi, everyone. Type all your names is a lot of work. Oh, typing on all your names is a lot of work. I thought it was a lottery or some sort. Admiral Teague says, when it's -40, people are never grateful for the convenience of it being the Fahrenheit and Celsius are combined. Yes. Nobody's ever happy to hear, oh, it's the same temperature. Pop Culture Curator says, Black people are already talking Father's Day and changing it to Juneteenth. I don't know about that, Pop. That's true, though. It is Father's Day. That could be problematic with the systematic destruction of the Black family unit due to various reasons, some of which are racist and some of which are not. Admiral Teague says the NAACP choose February, which is the nice month in Louisiana, I guess. Is that why it was chosen? DJ Play Nice says that's freaking hilarious. Admiral Teague says, I want a holiday. I think there should be an Admiral Teague Day. You could go set one up. Pop Culture Curious says, entire month for 13% of the population of the U.S. How about Native Americans, Latinos, and all the rest? Yeah, they can all get months. And some of us will have to double up. Some of us will have to double up. You know, the Italians and the Irish, we might as well double up anyway. Fuck. Both Catholics. White people hate us. Real white people, not fake whites. I know we have to, as a final fucking indignity, we have to say, oh yeah, we're Caucasian. When we know the real Caucasians, they're like, as soon as we're done with the blacks, we're coming for you guys. We've known it for fucking 200 years. It's right there. If you go to the fucking KKK website and they're like, people we're going to kill, blacks, Italians, the Irish, in that order. In that order. It's fucking right there. It's on the website. Okay, maybe they hid it now, but it's there, trust me. This is not fucking, there's nothing is to be surprised to anybody. This is well established fact. Um,
I have a story
you have a story, Mama Pray?
about what you just said.
What I just said? This isn't, okay, whenever you're ready. Bob Go to Curious is, I read that. Last on the case is Caesar Augustus wanted 31 days in the month. That would be July and August. So 2 days were taken from February. Hakeem says June is also men's mental health month, but it gets forgotten for a rainbow. Melted Cop versus Jedi Bill. I enjoyed your sing-along songs. It was fun. DJ Play Nice says we took chocolate chip cookies and the local paper to folks new to town. Tokyo Gaijin says Hakeem, June is also Father's Day, another traditional holiday preempted by Pride Month. Dave G says the audio is good. Thank you, Dave G. Sound. John Araki says Vertebrae 5, will there be a special leap year stream? Quantum leap could be the topic. I suppose we might do a special leap stream. What is the 29th? What day of the week? What day of the week is February 29th? It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday. We'll see. We'll see. It's a long way out, John Araki. I don't make promises that far out because I don't like to turn out to be a liar if I can't stream that day for one reason or another. But I will think about it. Admiral Teague saying it's 5x5 for him. Nemesis of Edens is carne asada. Never heard of them. Brutal gorilla. Last on the case is they have Juneteenth. People of color have Juneteenth. Pop Culture Curator says carne asada is chopped beef steak, nacho cheese, salsa, sour cream on fries. You know what they call stolen cheese, Pop Culture Curator? Nacho cheese. It's nacho cheese. Nacho cheese. It's the best type of cheese. Nacho cheese. Stolen cheese. Pop Culture Curator says Nemesis of Eden, carne asada. Yes. It's delicious. It's delicious. Admiral Teague says when the ocean freezes over, I'm walking to Europe. I meant the other way. You could walk to New Jersey, but you're right. If the ocean freezes over and you have the choice between walking to New Jersey and walking to Europe, I would walk to Europe too. Pop Culture Curator says, best to get all 4 tires at the same time. Executive producer Sal Leibowitz says Kapla. Kapla, executive producer Sal Leibowitz. Nemesis of Eden says, oh, dude, that sounds amazing to Pop Culture Curator. And Pop says, I saved most for dinner. Tokyo Gaijin says, time for me to bow out. Got to get ready for work. Have a great stream. Thank you, Tokyo Gaijin. Last Son of K says, do you remember the time we had a polar vortex this bad? Cities from Chicago eastward in the northern U.S. were plunged into temperatures that severely cold. And Mama Pray, are you here for your story or?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
if you're ready.
Mama Bray would like to address the crowd.
The crowd. Hello,
Crowd.
crowd. Hi, everyone. The conversation earlier about Black History Month and other things brought to mind. I worked for the New York City Board of Education just for a few years, but 2 of those years I was a para, basically an assistant teacher in a program for emotionally disturbed children. The ages ranged from, I would 12 to 14. Some of these kids had been held back or started school late. Whatever the reason, we had a small class, less than 10, and was one female, one boy whose family came from Russia, and the rest were Black boys. Something, I forget, this was like 1990 or 91, there was a, in the news, and please don't ask me what the incident was because I don't remember. But anyway, racism came up in the classroom. And this one boy said right out loud, he goes, "I don't like any white people." So I said, "Jamel, you like me and Mrs. H." That was the teacher in the room. He goes, "You're not white, neither is she." I said, "What do you mean I'm not white? What am I?" He says, "You're Italian. You're not white. And she's Jewish. She's not white." And I stood there with my mouth hanging open. It was the first time that I realized that there was, and I'm not talking about just this Black boy, that I realized, in fact, he's the one that said it to me. He said, "The KKK will come after you just as they would me." And I realized he was right. I said, my goodness. And I mean, I was well into my 40s at this point. But so you learn things differently at different ages. And then the other thing that surprised me, we would have gym class. And I don't know if it's still integrated today. When I went to school, you had the girls' gym and the boys' gym. But when I was a para, there were like 3 classes in the gym at the same time, male, female, whatever. And it was getting towards the end of the 8th grade for these kids, and they were having a prom. And there was one boy, and he kept looking at this girl, and this girl kept looking at him. And my job was just to stand by the door and make sure nobody got out. And that's what I was doing. You understand, all these kids towered over me. But I stood at the door. And I see them looking at each other. And I said to him, "Why don't you ask her to the prom?" And he goes, "Oh, my mother would kill me." I said, "Excuse me?" "Oh, no, I couldn't date her. I couldn't bring her to my house." I said, "Why?" He said, "Look how dark she is. My mother wouldn't allow it." So that's when I realized there was even racism among Black people. This boy could not date a dark-skinned Black girl. He could date a light-skinned Black girl. I learned more those couple of years in that classroom than I think I had in the 40-something years before. And then I don't even want to get into, after that, I bought a store. Oh, God, help me. Big mistake. But it was in a Spanish neighborhood. That's when I realized there was no love lost between Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. Yeah, they don't like each other either. You know what? I'm really happy to live in this house and not have to go out into the world anymore. It's mind-boggling. I grew up, people were people. I liked you. I didn't like you. It had nothing to do with where you came from, the color of your skin, what your religion was, and I'm still that way. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on out there. Anyway, guys, that's my story. Every word of it true. But I was going to say, everybody have a good weekend. No, it's Monday. Have a good week, everyone.
It's Monday.
Yeah. Okay, son. You may have your microphone back.
Thank you, Mama Pray. Mama Pray teaching us all about racism. Admiral Teague says, I wonder why there's no Cuban American Day. It's almost as if Cuba was an adversary. 2-0.
You think?
Melted Carver says, fake white like Michael Jackson. Dave G. Sound says, I don't frequent their site. Admiral Teague says, I haven't a saved tab for that website. Admiral Teague says, I think November is Men's Awareness Month, isn't it? Random Menace says, isn't it funny with those guys who don't know that the Klan is not written with a K, since fascism is an Italian invention? I don't know. Admiral Teague says, isn't it after the 28th and before the 1st? Admiral Teague says, nacho cheese, the most popular cheese in Crooklyn. Arabic Sandra says, carne asada is good, but my favorite is carne gadisa? Carne gadasa? I don't know, gasada. Carne gasada. Dave G says, what do you call an obese psychic? A fortune teller. R. Vincent Gallipo says, Nicole DeBoer returning as Captain Ezri Dax for Star Trek Online. Both worlds. Interesting. Too bad I don't watch or play Star Trek Online. Last Son of K says, even the rainbow flag isn't even a rainbow anymore. It's an abomination, just like the individuals who co-opted the letter community. Yeah, I still like a good old rainbow, not this fucking triangle of death, whatever they got going now. Give me a good old fucking arched rainbow with gold at the end. Pop Culture Curator says to Arabic Sonder, I love Gaditas. Gaditas as well. Is that what it is? Gadita? Admiral Teague says, that's why I have a heated electric blanket, electric buck hunting vest. Oh my God. A heated electric buck hunting vest. Arabic Sanders says, you mean you're a man of good taste, to Pop Culture Curator. Thanks and likewise. Last on the case is Hail Mom O' Pray. Hey, Mom O' Pray tale. We love Mom O' Pray. We love Mom. Thank you. Pablo de Curator says, so the thought all white people, where are we? So he thought all white people were KKK. No, he didn't say that. Don says, hello, Mama Pray. How was your weekend? To Jim. Random Man says, I am 6.6, blonde, blue eyes, fluent in German. I am screwed in today's society. You would be if you were here, Random Menace. Arabic Saunders is not necessarily a Random Menace. A lot of the chat are glad to know you. I would love to visit Slovakia one day and have a new Slovakian friend I met at work. And I would love to visit Slovakia too, the Random Menace. And just as soon as they get finished building the train, I will try to get there. I will try to get there on the first train. Dave G says a very nice segment by Mamo Pray. And the randomness says thank you to Arabic. Last on the case says I've seen the hatred between people of color and Puerto Ricans while I was in high school during the mid to late 80s. But listen, the entire West Side Story is Mamo Pray's favorite musical. So I don't understand how it was news to her that the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans don't get along. I mean, isn't that the entire fucking point of West Side Story? Yeah, Mama Pray.
Yes.
Is not West Side Story one of your favorite musicals?
West Side Story?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
So isn't that a story about the Jets and whatever's?
Sharks? What is it?
Yeah, but aren't they one of them Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
And the other Dominican?
No.
No.
The other's white.
Oh, white and
White
Puerto
and
Rican.
Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it isn't the story. It's the music I like.
I understand.
Yeah.
But you've seen it.
Oh, many times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were both.
Oh no.
I thought the Jets were. I thought one were Puerto Rican and one were other Hispanic.
No, they were other. Other.
Okay.
Like probably some Italian.
Probably
some
Italian,
Irish.
Yes, I got you. Okay.
None of them were.
Oh, they weren't. They weren't.
Wasps.
They were not wasps.
No.
They were not on the.
It was normal
board of
normal street gang stuff in the 50s.
New York Street.
Yeah.
None of them were headed to Harvard.
Yeah, none of them were.
Last Son of Gay says, I've seen the hatred. Okay, yes. Arabic Sounder says, aren't we Americans allowed to visit Cuba now? I think that was briefly allowed, but since taken away.
Excuse me.
Yes, Mama. Right.
I wanted to add to that.
You wanted to add to it, yeah.
Yes. I needed one last incident to make this.
Yes, to make it official.
Well, yeah, to actually see and feel the hatred. I was on a class trip with Sissopray, and we were in Washington, D.C., at a youth, what do you call them? Hostel?
A hostel.
Yeah, a youth hostel, but adults, mainly classes, was cheap way to spend a couple of nights in Washington, D.C., and a lot of it was schools. We were from New York. The two classes that went, and the majority of the children were Jewish. The teachers that came were Jewish. And the rest was assorted. Italian, Black, Hispanic. Well, you're in a room. Now, they had bunk beds. I don't know how many girls were in the bunk beds. And you had 2 adults in the room because you could never leave. And there was no bathroom in the room. This was before cell phones. They did not even have a phone in the room to call for help or call the desk or anything. And our floor was all female. And then the above floor was male. I think it was 4 floors high. So you had female, male, female, male. The men and the boys were staying in the room right above us. We didn't know that, but whatever. All of a sudden, bang, bang, bang on the door. And male voices screaming obscenities. You Jewish this, that, blah, 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 blah. It was a group from Germany. They were actual, still Nazis. They had the swastikas on them, but we couldn't get out of the room. We couldn't call for help. I got the girls in the first line of bunk beds that were directly, like facing the door. We didn't know if they had guns. Anyway, they made enough noise that the men from not just our group, but the other groups upstairs came down and got them out of there. And the next day they were out of the hostel completely. But that was the scariest thing for me, to feel that hatred. We were from New York and we were not WASPs. It was terrifying. So that's the end of my racism stories. Sorry to interrupt again, guys. World is a crazy place.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that even in the 80s or 90s, 90s, that there were actual German. Well, who's to say they were from Germany?
Oh no, the hostile people told us, because we wanted to know who they were, what happened, why did they come to attack us? Apparently, the kitchen was in the basement. You could make coffee and tea. You couldn't make meals, but there was a refrigerator and things like that, and that was open to everyone. So apparently, a couple of the teachers were down there making coffee or tea and talking, and these guys were there, and who knows what happened. They didn't have any interaction with them at that point, but they did see them. But we got up in the morning and left to go do whatever we were going to do. The day was planned, and by the time we got back and the teachers went and questioned, they said, no, they're all gone. They were a group from Germany. They booked, and we had them leave. The cops didn't get called or anything like that. I guess they didn't do anything but scare us.
Right. I did not know of that. at the time. I don't remember.
You don't remember that? Oh,
I don't
God.
remember hearing about it. Because, I mean, feel like
God.
at the time I would have been.
Yeah.
I would have been on my way down.
Oh, at the time, nobody heard about it. There were no cell phones.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a phone in the room.
Well, I'm surprised you went without it. I mean, I know there weren't cell phones in general, but
I didn't drive. I couldn't take the car home.
yeah, I guess. You know,
I don't even know if we had beepers then.
it might have been. Not that a beeper would help.
Right, it wouldn't have even if I had it.
Can't believe we used to send their kids to places without phones.
I mean, I think Charlie should have a phone going to school now.
Yeah.
I had it like that.
To be honest, problem with Charlie is he gets a hold of a phone, he has a tendency to dial 911.
Yes.
He's had the police come over to Sopre's house twice at least.
What?
Twice at least.
Oh, I got the phone. I had to hit the off button.
Yeah, we have to hit the off button here sometimes. He'll start to dial.
What's your emergency? He likes to act like he's 911.
Yeah. Admiral Teague says what we all really agree on is we need a rainbow of flavor. Absolutely. Pop says yes, sadly. The Random Menace. Admiral Teague says I'm white, but I'm also Latino. Am I supposed to underpay myself and then steal my own wallet to buy booze? Indeed. Don, thanks, Mama Pray. When you're a jet from your whatever to your first cigarette.
Right, the Jets, not the
Jets. The Jets and the Sharks. The Random Menace says, I will buy you the train ticket, NYC to Slovakia myself. That's a big train. It's going to be an expensive one. Admiral Teague says, West Side Story is Italians versus Puerto Ricans.
Oh, really?
That's why. And Admiral Teague says, let's not talk about the Jets. Not those Jets. Admiral Teague says, well, Italian, close enough. West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet, retold in 1961 New York. 54.5 Access Radio says, can't we all just get along? Indeed, 54.5 Access Radio, playing the hits. Emperor Arashito. The Random Menace is for Mama Pray. Tonight, there's only you tonight. What are you? What you do? What you say? Admiral Teague says, Arabic Sonder, you can't go to Cuba. You just have to stop. Oh, you can go to Cuba. You just have to stop in Mexico first. And Admiral Teague says, all youth are hostile. I agree. Arabic Sonder says, good to know. Thanks to Admiral Teague. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz says, a Ute hostile. What's a Ute? I know. What's a Ute? Best line. The best line from My Cousin Vinny. A wonderful movie. If anybody has never seen My Cousin Vinny. Marissa Tomei's Oscar-winning performance. Marissa Tomei, the other famous person who went to my high school.
Fancy, please.
Who is the most famous the most famous alumni of Edward R. Murrow High School. It's Marissa Tomei.
I thought it was you.
Then it was God Emperor of Karoga. It was a close number 2. Admiral Teague says, hi there to Don Don. I'm learning a lot today. What's a beeper? Asked Gorilla. Ah, ha, ah, ah. Don Don says, I myself love the 1961 United Artists Pictures adaptation of West Side Story a little more than the 2021 20th Century Studio movie. Mama Bray refuses to watch the updated movie. She doesn't want it ruined in her head. Stan Lee says, Bird of Prey 5 got me hooked on For All Mankind. Almost finished season 1. Congratulations, Stan Lee. You have a season 2 is going to knock your socks off. I don't, change that. I hope you enjoy season 1, and I hope you enjoy season 2 as much. Okay. Me personally, the first 2 seasons were phenomenal. The 3rd season was okay. And the 4th season was okay too. But I don't want to oversell. I don't want to oversell the 2nd season. Monday. It's Monday, Mama Pray. Arabic Saunders says it's still going due to the holiday, Donnie. And tomorrow is online WebEx day at work. And Stan Lee says his biological clock is ticking. That is another great line from my cousin Vinny. They should do My Cousin Vinny too. I honestly, what's a movie that nobody's expecting a sequel to? There's no reason they can't do the sequel. I mean, Joe Pesci is like what, 98 years old now? It would be truly epically weird to see Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei still married. I mean, you could do it where Joe Pesci dies and now the Joe Pesci is playing his own father. Maybe that would be less problematic. Don Power Ranger says, Arabic Sonder, mine has been amazing despite my Dallas Cowboys defeat at home last afternoon and Pete Carroll no longer head coach of his Seattle Seahawks. Admiral Teague says Edward R. Murrow might deserve honorable mention at your school. John Williams went to my high school. No shit. My junior high was John Williams, right? John Williams Junior High. But that was in Canarsie. Jedi Bill says she's hot. Marissa Tomei, you're damn right. She's hot, Jedi Bill. The MCU Aunt May, Marissa Tomei. Those sneaky Soviets. Mama Pray.
Yes.
My junior high.
Yes.
John Wilson?
Yes.
John Wilson.
John Wilson. IS 211.
Yes. John Wilson.
And television studio.
You
remember the studio?
Yes, I remember this studio. Admiral Teague said Edward R. Murrow might deserve honorable mention at your school. Oh, Wilson. John Wilson. Mine was John Wilson.
Right.
His was John Williams.
Oh.
Went to his high school. I don't know who John Williams is, but I confused it. My junior high was John Wilson Junior High, not John Williams Junior High. Okay. John Wilson.
High school was
And Lee says, I like how women are not the Mary Sues. Yes. And for all mankind. Don't get me wrong. I certainly understand how some of them get pretty close, but they're not. And as time goes on, they're even less so, except for one. There's always going to be one. Admiral Teague says, I've heard For All Mankind falls off a cliff after season 2. No, not a cliff. Gorilla says, everything Guy said is bullshitty. Stanley says, well, Pesci had retired. Think he only came back for the Irishman for his Marty begged. Random Man says Joe Pesci is 80. Yeah, he's pretty old. Sorry, Mama Pray. Melted Copper says, I'm still stoked for a weekend at Bernie's. There's no way they're doing another weekend at Bernie's. Aravic Sonder with $1 super chat. Thank you so much, Aravic Sonder. Don says, call me crazy, but number one multimedia entertainment franchise is a tie between Super Sentai and Power Rangers. Sorry, fellow Whovians, Trekkies, and Star Wars. Don, I love the music of John Williams. Don says hello to Melted Copper. How was your weekend? It was pretty solid. Arabic Sonder it's a fake. It's a fake. It took a while to play. Melted Copper said a pretty solid weekend. Rounds on shows with new internet pals around the world. I met through Bird. Stanley says, yeah, like woman who says she doesn't care about kids, then gets all maternal, gets upset when her little protag is more interested in her new boyfriend than going to STEM university. The Random Man says, John Williams, composer, Jaws, Close Encounters, Star Wars, E.T., Indiana Jones, Superman, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List. Really? You did not know. The Random Menace crossed my heart to God. I had no idea who John Williams was until you just said all that. I would never have guessed it, not in a bajillion years. I have no idea. And I'll be honest, come tomorrow, I will probably forget. Don says, my introduction to John Williams was his NBC nightly news theme tune, The Mission. And Don asked her, and the Menace, how was his weekend? Mikey Sues is in the house, Kapla. Mikey Sues. Hello and Kapla. Hello and Kapla. Mikey Sues. Don says, John Williams is alive and well, and he's not retiring after all. So happy for the legendary film composer, score composer. Good. That's awesome. I'm happy for everybody who knows him. Okay. So, the other day was January 14th, and they were remembering the birthday of Barry Jenner, who played Admiral Ross on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He was really only on there for season 6 and 7, but you get the feeling that he had been there a lot longer than that. Anyway, Ira Stephen Bear, showrunner for DS9, posted this. Says Barry was a hell of a nice guy. And this is the thing that fucking Hollywood types do. They just put the letter A on its own line. A multidimensional Star Trek Admiral and the only cast member who fully understood the inscription inside the ring given by the writers as their cast crew goodbye gift. Over a decade later, and he still got choked up discussing it with me at a convention. And he doesn't fucking tell us what the fucking inscription is. And there's 22 comments. I'd say 8 of them are like, what's the fucking inscription? He never tells us. He doesn't fucking tell us the inscription. Somebody finds the ring. This is the ring that the writers gave it out. I don't know what it's worth. And there's no way to read the inscription. It was the writers gave it to the cast members, and they ended up being sold at auctions. But yeah, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. Very, very upsetting. So, if anybody ever finds what that inscription is, I'd love to hear it. So it's Martin Luther King Day, obviously. It's also National Bagel Day, National Hat Day, Blue Monday, Brew Monday, Civil Rights Day, Elementary School Teacher Day, Idaho Human Rights Day, where we have another superior statue of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. National Booch Day. Why is kombucha tea so famous? Because there's numerous properties that can improve your life. I'm guessing that's booch. National Fresh Squeezed Juice Day. Not just orange juice, but I guess any juice you can freshly squeeze is today. Sounds delicious. National Pothole Day and National Strawberry Ice Cream Day. And let me tell you, nobody ever needs to order more chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry ice cream because the strawberry ice cream is finished. Now, you can have the chocolate to be finished, the vanilla can be finished, the chocolate and the vanilla can be finished, but nobody has ever had to reorder chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla ice cream because just the strawberry was finished. And finally, it's Wikipedia Day. I'm guessing it must have came online on January 15th of whatever year it did, because it would be a terrible day otherwise to be a day. So those are our days for today. And what do we got? Yeah, one ring to rule them all. I know. I know. Don says Barry Jenner guest starred in Family Matters as well. Yeah. I was not a fan. Was not a fan of Family Matters. Melted Copper says, what about Danny Elfman do you not like? Epic circus music. Arabic Son says, don't forget Williams also wrote music of E.T. and Back to the Future. Random says, it's easy. Think Spielberg and Lucas, and you get John Williams. Admiral Teague says, John Williams is no Jerry Goldsmith, so it's understandable. You know, I'm just not a fan of music. I'm not a fan of music. If it's not Frank Sinatra or Billy Joel or a handful of others, it's not music. Nemesis of Eden says, hail to Don. Hope you're doing well. Don says, I love Barry Jenner in both JAG and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Mikey Sue says, did you know Stuart Copeland, former drummer for the Police, also writes movie scores and soundtracks? Don says, hello to Nemesis of Eden. I'm coolio. Thank you. How was your weekend? The Random Minute says, Don, as always, short and busy. It was my wife's birthday last Thursday, so we celebrated. Wonderful. Don says, the Random Minutes, I see. Happy birthday to her. As for mine, it was amazing. Awesome. Nemesis of Eden says, it was good, nice, and freezing cold, but relaxing. How was yours? Arabic Sound says, didn't know that. To Donnie, thanks. I stand corrected. Nemesis of Eden says, the ring of lost knowledge. That's sad, but cool. Melted Copper says, it wasn't Star Trek. It was Gremlins theme that give me my love of Jerry Goldsmith. But Elman got to Gremlins too. Elman got to do Gremlins too. Mike Richards says the inscription reads, eggs don't bounce. I find that suspect. Don says both JAG and DS9 were produced by what was then Paramount Network Television, now CBS Studios. Season 1 of the former was co-produced by what was then NBC Productions, now Universal Television. The Random Menace is one ring to rule them all, or is it in another ring? Yeah, I think it's a different ring. Blue Monday, says the Random Menace, the most depressing day of the year. Don says, my introduction to Jerry Goldsmith was the Next Generation version of the theme from Star Trek, the motion picture. Admiral Teague says you can only read the inscription if you put the ring in a fire, and it starts one ring to rule them all. Melted Copper says, Blue Monday, how does that feel? How does it feel to treat me like you do? Hakeem says, I make my own kombucha. It's really good. Stan Lee says Urkel was overrated. I agree. Melted Copper says, I make my own problems, and they are really bad. Don says Melted Copper. Goldsmith scored the new batch as well. Danny Elfman, I didn't, I'm certain. The Random Menace says, I'm not a fan of Family Matters. How about Family Energies? Matter versus energy. I get it. Stanley says John Williams didn't do Back to the Future. They couldn't afford him. Pop Culture Curator says Back to the Future soundtrack was from Alan Silvestri, not John Williams. Melted Copper says Indo prefer the Gremlins 2 rag over the classic original. Stanley says, so do Tom York and other guitarists from Radiohead. Bunch of movie scores. Random Menace's Back to the Future was Alan Silverstreet. Stanley's is Radiohead, even a James Bond movie intro song for Spectre, but they used a Sam Smith song instead. Don says, I love the music of Brian Tyler as well, including his score for a 2017 movie, reboot of the Power Rangers. Melted Copper says, if Spielberg and Nolan both showed interest in in Bond, they should grab one of them to direct the new Bond. Random Menace says, now everything seems to be composed by Hans Zimmer. He is good, but sounds expensive, but sounds repetitive if you listen to his greatest hits. Don is a load of pop culture curator. And also, I love the music of Hans Zimmer as well. My introduction to him was old CBS sci-fi show called Space Rangers of Fort Hope. Don says Family Matters was a spin-off of Perfect Strangers. I don't think, no. Family Matters, a spin-off to Perfect Strangers? Dan Ben says TV on BBC News Channel right now is about Iowa 2024. Yeah, there's a caucus going on in Iowa. I don't care. Dan Ben says here earlier, had to go, multiple things happening at once. No worries, Dan Ben. No worries. Mikey Sues says today is also Indian Army Day. Yeah, I tend to only look about American holidays. Deej Deej Odyssey is in the house. Says greetings. Oh, greetings, Deej. Hope you're staying warm. Deej is having internet outages. I hope he's not having power outages. Hope you're staying warm, Deej. Unfortunately, is expected to do Jackbox. It's been pushed back until the weather gets better and his internet connection gets more stable. So we hope Deej feels better.
Nobody's here.
Admiral Teague says, what the F happened to Elman's wife? Google Bridget Fonda now. Oh my God, she's strange looking and aged beyond her years. I have no great desire to check. Dan Ben says there was a Power Rangers in space TV program as a kid. I had the toy spaceship, looked a bit like the Defiant, but changes into a Megazord. Mikey Sue says, don't forget Michael Glashino as a composer, soundtrack writer. Ms. Lundell says, Deej is back in the 21st century, I see. And Deej says, yes, Miss Lundell, I was trying to thaw out. Thank you, Mama Gray. Melted Copper says, Admiral Teague, no one searches modern pictures of old hot girls. You're seeking to hurt yourself. Yes, Mama Gray. Yeah, I want to boil some pasta.
Plain pasta?
Yeah, plain pasta.
Okay.
That'll be fine. Deed says it was the power outage that kicked me out of backstage earlier today. I'm sorry to hear that, Deej. Mikey Sue says 10F right now in greater Toronto area with a huge snow squall coming this evening and tomorrow morning. Deej says only 3.5 hours without power. These dang sub-zero temps. Don says, I myself have Hasbro's Zord Ascension project, Astro Megazord. The Megazord is my #1 Power Ranger Megazord. And my #2 pop culture vehicle between Enterprise D and the Millennium Falcon. Dan Ben says, what came first, Transformers or Power Ranger Zord? I would imagine Transformers, because when I was a kid, we had Transformers. We did not have Power Rangers. Definitely the former, says Don Don. Don Don says, speaking of the Transformers, this year marks its 40th anniversary. That would be correct. Well, of course, I'm 45, and it's been 40 years of Transformers, More Than Meets the Eye, Robots in Disguise. Sounds right to me. The math works. Don Don says next year marks the 50th anniversary of Super Sentai, what was the basis for Power Rangers. Well, basis of is not the same as. Mikey Sue says, we feel your pain, Deej. Melted Covers is one of my favorite Transformers, was Tripticon, a giant evil robot dinosaur. Deej is Heat Wave. It's -5 here at the moment. Admiral Teague says, meh, Nicole DeBoer still looks great. Maybe she just made good choices. Some people certainly made better choices than others. Don says, my number one Transformer is Optimus Prime. My number one Transformer over the years, it's hard. There's so many. I don't get me wrong, definitely liked original Optimus Prime. I liked, what was it? Magnus Prime or Ultra Magnus, which was the same Optimus Prime, but in white, but with a different, whereas Optimus Prime was a tractor trailer, Omegas Prime was a trailer that carried other cars, so you could get other Autobots in his trailer. So it was pretty cool. Like Bumblebee and some other smaller Autobots would all fit in his trailer. Anyway, I like the Dinobots. I'm just so upset that the Dinobots didn't form a giant dinosaur like all the others. You had 5 other robots, and they would all form one mega robot. But the Dinobots were the only ones that didn't all turn into a giant robot themselves. I really liked Soundwave and the other one. I only see as a kid, I would only buy Autobots. I wouldn't buy Decepticons. I wouldn't ask for Decepticons for presents because I figured it was my duty as an American who believed in, freedom, that I should only be buying, only money should go to buy Autobots. And if I was buying Decepticons, I was helping the bad guys win. And it was unfortunate because I so much preferred airplanes and rockets to cars. And the Autobots, they were all fucking cars. And the Decepticons were all the jet fighters. So the only Decepticon I ever remember buying was not even Megatron. I never had a Megatron. For whatever reason, and I don't know why, for whatever reason, I bought a Galvatron. After the movie came out, I had to buy the new bad guy. Pretty sure the only reason I bought Galvatron was so the Autobots could beat the shit out of him. I bought, God damn it. I fucking bought Rodimus Prime. My God. What a God piece of shit. That was like the worst. The goddamn movie comes out. So Hot Rod is dead. I had Hot Rod. But once he died, I was like, I don't care about Hot Rod. I had to get Rodimus Prime. He was such a shitty Transformer. Yes, Ultra Magnus built around a white Optimus in the cartoons. There was a robot plague, and this rare metal turned Prime white. I don't know about that. Dan Ben says quite a few things similar to Transformers. Melted Copper is a devastator. Stanley says they hit the spot, robots and dinosaurs. Melted Copper says Soundwave was the one-eyed purple cannon. That was Shockwave. Yeah, he said, oops, Shockwave. Stanley says the ghetto blaster guy with the tapes. No, there was the red one and the blue one. The blue guy, Shockwave, he was the Decepticon. Soundwave, I believe, was the Autobot. They had a working radio. They had a working radio. That was cool. He had the leopard tape and the pterodactyl. Yes, that's right. Dan Benz has once had a Star Wars Transformers toy. It was Darth Vader's ship from A New Hope, and it transformed into action figure of Vader. That turned into a gun. Dan Benz's Hasbro Power Ranger toys still sell, still enough people buying Power Ranger toys. Stanley says Rodimus, discount Optimus. Mikey Sue's Starscream tried to overthrow Megatron. Every episode, it was like every episode, Starscream would try to overthrow Megatron, and Megatron would catch on and smash him in the head. Dan Ben says, yeah, there was a Transformer in the shape of cassette player, Ghetto Blaster, and there was one that transformed into a gun. Megatron transformed into a gun. Melted Copper says, what about Cyclones and Swoop? Blur, aka the Micro Machines guy. Yeah, he was cool. See, when Megatron would transform into a gun, Starscream would be the one holding him. So it's like kind of weird that you needed a number 2 to fire the number 1 as a weapon. Admiral Teague says, not buying those Decepticons did as much good as every flag someone puts in their Twitter handles. So there's that. Yeah, I guess I was ahead of my time. He could never handle the power. Anyway, says Stanley. Dan Ben says, yeah, I asked what came first because Power Rangers did start in the 90s, but they may have had it earlier in Asia. Don says, my most recent Power Ranger merch was Super 7 Tyrannosaurus Dinozord. And Stanley says, yeah, the blue was the bad guy. One-eyed purple cannon sounds dirty, says Nemesis. Don says, my first ever hot toy. Deej Odyssey says, Jetfire was an Autobot plane. Yeah, there were a couple. Mikey Sue says, how are you holding up from the cold weather, Admiral Teague? Deej says, and Jetfire was in command of 10 other Autobot planes. They were not in the TV show all that often. Melted Copper says, who is interrupt my coronation? Is this just a bad comedy starship? Mikey Sue says hello to Teague and Nemesis. The microscope guy. Stanley, right, the microscope guy. The Random Menace says, welcome to Tuesday. Wordle and Birdle already solved. Mama Pray will check. Dan Ben says, in Star Trek, there is a rumor that there might be Star Trek 4, a prequel to the 2009 film. Whatever. You know what, Dan Ben? I don't care anymore. I don't care. If it happens, it happens. We'll wait and see. Admiral Teague says to Mikey Sues, I'm glad 2 batteries for the heated vest pretty much says it all. Stanley says they never explain that bit. Perceptor. Mikey Sues is good news. Then Teague, we got a backup generator in our building if all power were to go down. Deed says if Bird had gotten more Decepticons, he would have just put them in the mines to work. Here's what I did, Deej. I got the, I forget what they're called, the Constructocons, Constructobots. They were heavy duty construction bots. They were like a drilling machine and like thing that the big heavy thing that flattens the pavement, the big heavy wheel, like a mining drill. Anyway, a whole bunch of them. And I put them under a driveway that was being added to my house back in Canarsie, Brooklyn. To my knowledge, they are still there. It doesn't appear in the 40 plus years, or maybe 30 years. Nobody has ever broken up this driveway. So I still believe that there is at least a set of 5 mint condition Autobots that I buried deep into the dirt, and they then poured concrete on top. And God knows if they survived or not, if they got covered in concrete. I don't know. But there is a chance that there is an Autobot set on the plot of property I used to live on in Canarsie, Brooklyn. And I'd love one day for somebody to, if they ever were going to take up the driveway, to check and see if anybody can find what I believe I put it close to, I think it was right on the line with the fence, the outside fence on the avenue side. I wonder, all types of toys were buried around this property. hundreds of smashed, not micro machines, matchbox cars. Hundreds of smashed matchbox cars. And Jesus Christ, if they ever come across like a metal Band-Aid box or something, don't open it. For the love of God, don't open it. Let the graves of the little poor animals be. Goldfish and whatnot, hamsters, all types. All types. My bird didn't, he wasn't buried in a box, so I'm pretty sure he has turned to dust. Captain Finity is in the house. Kapla, Captain Finity. Admiral Teague says there were Transformers that had tape players and another transformed into a CD player. I am not aware of a CD player Transformer. Stanley says, yeah, Megatron would change into a gun and sort of shrink at the same time. They never explained how. Yeah, the size of the robots, they just seem to be able to expand and contract as needed. Admiral Teague says Star Trek 4, they're thinking about, will stream, have one-day theater release, feature Picard is a fraud. It's also pretty likely to happen. I don't know about any of that. Stanley says, but they combined into a big robot. All the little constructors. Yes, Steamroller, that was it. Steamroller. Melted Copper says, Captain Finity, Temperus Maximus is here. He is so sweet and jolly. Howdy. Yes, it was a steamroller. Thank you, guys. They were Decepticons. That's why they got buried. Captain Finity says, go watch Blade Runner. To Melted Copper. Melted Copper says there was a movie called The Oi, Who Could Fly That, at G.I. Joe Graveyard and inspired us to bury G.I. Joes. Mike Richards says, get your time capsules. Needs at Birdco. In school, they made us do a time capsule once. And my aunt O'Prey, actually held on to the time capsule for us. It was like something like 15 years or something. And we opened it. I remember opening it. This was after college sometime. It was really interesting. I wish I'd kept it longer. You need to do a good time capsule with your kids. Melted Copper says, watch Blade Runner. I told you I'm watching things I missed on Blade Runner on YouTube. Just got to act like I saw it. Deej says, someone digs up property and will think some junior serial killer lived there. Well, that's what I thought. That's how I thought, archaeology worked. I thought we had to bury things for future archaeologists to find. Deed says someone digs up the property. Yeah. Admiral Teague says, well, see ya. Take care, Admiral. Melted Copper says, oh God, my childhood home has lots of animals and boxes. Hope no one is into gardening at the old house. The lovely Sherry is here. I buried my bird in the backyard. Then a cat dug it up. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. Deej Odyssey says Galvatron was cooler. He would transform into a big laser cannon. I remember that. I don't want to say he was necessarily cooler. Melted Copper says, are you out, Admiral? Have a good evening. Deej says, Bird, you realize in the original Transformers, there were a couple of Decepticons that turned into Autobots. You could have reformed them, but you buried them alive under a driveway, you monster. Buried alive. Buried alive. Buried alive. I wonder where I got that idea. The Random Menace says, I've had my funny, furry companions who passed away cremated on a shelf. Yeah, I mean the dogs and the cat. Well, the dogs and the rabbits. They got official cremations.
And we still have the water.
And we still have. It's true. We still have them all. Bird is gone. The truth is out. The truth is out. Okay. Let's head over to Dear Bob. It's getting late. Dear Bob, is it true the Korogan Bible says, thou shalt not F around lest thou find out? Sincerely, minor number 452. Thou shalt not F around lest thou find out. This is not true. For I am the holder of the Korogan Bible, and I can assure you that line does not appear. Dear Bob, so you were associated with Bill Clinton, who was associated with Epstein. Holy crap, you're the redacted name on the Epstein list. No comment. This stream is over. Kapla all. Bird out.